Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're giving a quick bottle check-in. It is September 10th? Oh, no, 10th. September 10th. So, let's go ahead and see where we're at. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. The redemption. This is crazy. I mean, the first thing that we're getting is the cups. Pages words. We are in that time. We are in that place, folks. This comes from God. This stretches out from God. This communication. Matter of fact, for me, it feels like the final test. For me, it feels like today I was really asked to be like, Alexis, would you be willing if God was like saying don't do this, to like pause your endeavors? It's not even so much about pausing your endeavors, but it is about like, if I did tell you something was God is like always testing me to be like, are you like actually listening to me? Are you like gonna just like lock into a plan as soon as it's time to go do it, and not really be checking in with like, oh wait, something popped up? And I think that's really important, because I actually feel like, surprised we were kidding, like surprised like the things can come through from God, but again, you have to allow them to be God creating that. Like, you know, you'll go where God needs you to go. It's like, we're not even afraid to like pop into battle and do nothing. It's not even that. It's not even about a point. But I think that that's kind of like how I started today, which was like, you know, this feeling of like, if it's coming from you in any way, like having the obedience to be like, I don't know the security of it, so we'd have to have something supernatural really come forward. And I feel like that's the supernatural communication coming forward, but it also starts with it stems with the pages with me. It stems with I'm going to be the person to go ahead and let the chopper sing, that I'm really serious about this coming from God, about the renewal, the cup, right? Oh my gosh, can you drink from this cup type of frequencies, right? Can you really drink from this cup? And that's what Spirit was saying. It's like, we need to know, are you going to be able to, because again, many of, like I said, for the Stewski, the stuff that the girls see going on, you already know. That's why we've been doing this proper 5 years. We already know. We've been talking about this since I was a 23-year-old lad, about the collapse. We've been in the rubble. We've been on that. But when you're asking from God, can we actually drink of the cup that God has for us at this time? Much of that has to come from this being in this disposition, which is like, you get this opportunity. And this is a very big PSA. It's like, you get this opportunity because of the public denouncing that it's like, it is not about what I've been doing. It is not people that I'm excited for. It is not things that I'm excited for. It's not my own identity that gets anything even from it. Even with the Children of America, it's not about clout on me. It's about getting it done. Like, actually, it's about like going and doing it and being transformed by the experience, right? And so here I am, being asked to just bear it all. Be who I truly am, you know, no hiding, no mask, no nothing, look like nothing, feel like nothing. And in fact, even embrace that, like, I'm good. Like, actually what I have right now, I'm grateful for, and I definitely wouldn't leave the presence of God. That's the grounding you need. To be able to have this come out for you when it's really time for it to come out for you, you would have to have that awareness where it's like, yes, I am the individual, in fact, who is very clear that this only feels like a certain thing when the hand of God comes out and gives you an overflowing renewal, a new cup for you to drink from. You could just drink. If you wanted to come in the format of a message to you that someone is willing, this is also huge, because this coming to you is like, this is liberating, because it's like when someone is in the pages, when someone is in that spiritual truth, it's like they've finally come to a place where it's like, it doesn't matter what anyone says. I have already vetted out what should have always been this. Does that make sense? So there's that. Oh boy. And like I said, today I woke up and I was just like, again, I cover a lot of ground here. I will always, I mean, it's a nonstop journey for me. It's a nonstop journey for me when it comes to the justice that we need for the human experience. So I'm often really always going to have a few extra words to spare to someone if it comes to like advocating for the experience that they're going through as a human being, because many people are unconscious to that realm and don't even have the access to like speak to the experiences they're having. However, you will know when this exactly is coming, because it only comes in this context, when you're locked out and calamity strikes. That was today. Woke up and we were like, it is hellish out there. Yikes, gay. But it makes you understand the value of what you've been given, because also there were already gifts that were already given. Like, I feel like there are things that we're waiting on, and then like usually when you're manifesting something, all this other shit also manifests. So there's like the one thing that you really want, but then it's like in the interim, God's also giving you all this other abundant stuff. And I feel like if it wasn't for today's like hellish vibe, I wouldn't be as grounded. That like the cup has already been given to me a million times over, even though I'm waiting on like a specific cup. It's like the cup's already been given to me like a million times over, just by the things that we've inherited, the land that we get to be a part of, the grid that God has already helped us clear out the last few weeks. Like all the bigger things are a go.
Right. But we wouldn't have even paid attention.
And we wouldn't have even paid attention to that had it not been this, where you feel locked out of the one thing you are hoping to manifest and have. You know, when you feel like you don't stick out of the rubble of all the people placing it. This is 5-5 energy. This is huge change for movies, right? It's like huge energy, like just turn over. You know, I also wanted, the spirit was also telling me, it's like, don't hold on too heavily to like what's here today and gone tomorrow. Like, don't be too pressed about like yesterday's news, or even right now, like even the you know, because I just think that's what people need to understand. The tides are changing so much that I feel like what's more likely for people to have happen to them right now is getting entangled into something like sort of more so randomly just because of the tides than anything, like more than like an acute issue that you need to wait for. It's like you just right now, healthy spiritual boundaries are so important, because it will keep you from aligning to things that really aren't even your pot to piss in. They're not even your, it's not even your plate. So a lot of those interesting messages that I was hearing. But again, can you drink from this cup? Because so many people, when calamity strikes, you also have to know the vibration and the frequency of that, and then you have to also still realize that at the same time, God's also extending a cup. Many people will never get to drink out of God's cup because of the fact that it's like, when it's presented, let there be some drama going on, the girls are always going to talk about the drama. They're always going to talk about what's going on over there. They're going to talk about the tizzy, the fuzzy, the suzy, right? They're never going to really be prepared. Like, the real reason why I disengage in certain things is because I want a better caliber, right? Like, when I say, like, you know what, it's good to forget the New York Fashion Week. I don't even need that, because I really want God's cup. Like, to me, that's more of the hell frequency than it is like God's cup. That's really where I can make the distinction, where it's like, it's not really about any one thing, any one man-made whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's just about knowing that, like, but what God would have for me is like never-ending peace and prosperity, and like peace, like actual like well-being of the spirit, you know. And so when sometimes what God's trying to show you is like, sometimes all you're going to be tested, because it's like, do you want to go into this voluntarily? Because to me, this is Babylon, where everybody's locked out, and that's why everybody's fighting each other, because nobody has their own cup. Do you get what I'm saying? If you actually had your own cup, would you even need to be in some of these places where you have to compare yourself to other people? Why wouldn't you go out and get space? I think about this all the time. When I was crafting my residency with other studios, that was what was going into it. It's just like, well, after a certain point, like, I want to bring our artists out into this space within themselves, so that they can realize, like, what is the point of the industry? Right? If the industry is just in the image of like how much we can't stand alone, like if you really do stand alone, like should you go clip your own wings to go join the industry when you were already born with the wings as an artist? So these are the things that is like, you know. Wow. And this was the test. The reason the cup comes to you, want to know why? Because I literally had to deal with it today. It's 9/11 right now. I'm just trying to let you know. Do it preemptively. Before the shit, because I can't be someone that's like talking about like prophetic whatever, and then me like fuck up my journal by never doing like proactive stuff. Like, that's one thing about me, is like I'm really trying to like eliminate problems before they can even pop up as problems, type of thing. And that's what this really like gives to of Pentacles. This is that. This is being like, you know what, I need to let it lie. Because if that's just going to be karmic soup, if that's just going to be Two of Pentacles, if I'm just going to be juggling myself, and for what? Let it lie. This is about knowing how to not get up and hurt yourself when you just need to trust in the cup that you're about to be given. Yeah. You've got a new start. Do you want to run right in and go right back into the loop-de-loop tilt-a-whirl? Or are you going to let it lie? Because I think so many people, they got, again, and we had such a big message about this last night during your service with my dad. It was like, really talking about how much heavier the burden is once you've already been administered the truth. Like, if we, whether you want to reference like the gospel, but like the primordial truth, like if you've already been brought to consciousness, if you have, you know, spiritual practitioners around you, prophets, like people who can do this type of work for you and have given you that, the consequence for your disobedience or for your sinful nature, or for your, like, again, when we talk about sinful nature, it's just like, to me, if you want to take it outside of religious context, like the repetitive, like you've already left that consciousness and you're still going back and putting it on like for a costume. You know, the consequences for doing something like that are just so much more, because it's just like, it's like, imagine a teacher who's like, you already sat through all of 9th grade and you still flunked the test. You know, it's not going to be the same as like trying to test the 7th grader to see if they can skip a grade versus like the 9th grader who like sat through the whole thing, got the whole thing, and then like body of knowledge, and then like still fails, and doesn't expect there to be like, you know, huh? Wow, it's my dad's birthday. So that's something I really largely feel. I feel like there was a huge test for me today where it was like, okay, I'm about to like do a little sample sale of this on Earth, but it is supposed to show you that we should have evolved since 2020 because of people like myself, people like light workers everywhere who have been like still inputting like the services that are needed. But I feel like at the same time, it's like we were still getting tested, because in the past, when calamity would strike, it was more important than the peace. And I do still feel like no matter what, like holding down the frequency of like what we really do want to focus on more than anything, not in a gaslighting, I just mean like, do you want to wake up and be like, oh, everything is going horrible, even though you're like pretty ignorant, even though you just got online and it's like, is everything any more horrible for you than it was yesterday? Maybe, maybe not, right? Maybe you just woke up today and like decided to go to fuck. But in all actuality, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I also think that this will happen, right? Some of us have waited our whole lives for this moment, for this, and God's like, don't let any of this stop that. You get what I'm saying? Because it just wants to get you tangled up into something to like prolong the healing at this point, and we don't need to prolong the healing. We just got the freedom, you know? Yeah, I'm an artist. I always have a bunch of fucking ideas all the time. I do. But an idea is an idea, and God's plan is God's plan. You know what I mean? It's one thing 2025 taught me. Okay, and another big one. Recent past. Yikes. This isn't looking good, because this is exactly what I just said. When you've already been taught, when this is the person who disobeys even though they already know the right thing to do. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like even I got put through that, where it's like, well, I've already done the New York chapter at the end of the day. And at this point, I needed to know that it was personal. Like, me leaving New York was personal. Like, the boot out of there energetically. Like, once we cleared the karma, it was like, you got to get out of here, babe. It's like, it was like, go, you got to go. And it was a me thing, you know? And I feel like passing that quick little test, because it isn't light. Nothing is light right now. You just got to know yourself. I'm not here to talk about nobody else and what they got going on for me. Same way that when it comes to me being vegan, it's like, girl, it was deeply personal. I can't really speak to you girls. I just know God told me, are you stupid? Do you want to see the future? I'm going to show you the future. I'm going to show you what it's supposed to look like. And when I saw that shit, I was like, I'm good on the flesh. I'm good on the animal fucking part. I'm good on it. Can you drink this cup? This is crazy. Look, someone wants to, it's this person. This is the process. This is what's coming down. It takes a lot to be able to drink from this cup, though. It does. There's a whole foundation that has already been erected. And a lot of times you don't think about how this cup is trying to find its way to you, and how you may not think of yourself as in high demand. Like, you may be thinking one aspect of how you're manifesting your life, but what about the things that are manifesting you and how hard it was to be sure that, like, I think what I'm seeing is that someone really didn't know whether or not, like, it's felt like God's will. Like, someone, like, for example, like, if I get a prophecy and I'm like, oh, so-and-so is, you and so-and-so is supposed to connect to do something, right? That could be the same for someone else, but then they could be going through the same thing I go through. It's like, how are we going to actually make that happen on the third dimension? Because there's only so much you can play in your part, but then it's really just mostly God's will. I feel like there was a huge surrender in that way. Where it's like, in order for this cup to really get to you and for this to really, like, connect and to be exactly what, like, it really needed to be, I just think there was a lot going into it. And I think in the recent past, it was just like, it always gave deception. It always just gave, like, I must be stealing from myself. Because I think it's just this. It's like, this cup is so sought after. Who wouldn't want that right now? Considering what's going on in the planetska? Yeah. Who would not want God to come out with a replenishment, with some new water, right? And I think that was one thing that I really felt. It was like, you know, it'd be one thing if I wasn't Gen Z, but I am Gen Z, and we inherited, like, a burning planet, and that's, like, what our, like, career and life landscape is going to be. Just for our, like, specifically our generation, because we are part of that, like, inheriting of the collapse. And I just feel that way. I just feel like everything that I've ever wanted to go after or whatever, I may not always see it, but I don't think about how much, like, there's just so much, like, desperation around all these, like, opportunities that are available, you know, that people could get from the universe. And that's part of the thing. It's like, so anytime I'm trying to, like, get some type of opportunity in life, I'm never really thinking about all of that, but all of that must truly and really be there. But again, it's like this King of Wands, bro. I feel like this was the plan. It's like, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. It's like 3 months of building something, 3 months of celebrating that we built it, sitting at the throne of it. So it's like a 6-month process. It's like something 6 months ago was what I'm really hearing, because I'm just getting this, like, in stages. 6 months ago, you might have been, what is it, Virgo season? So Pisces season, literally. Pisces season, this is where you were. It's like Page of Cups, new, 17. Then you went through 3 months of really building that out, like developing whatever this intuitive whatever is. 3 months of celebrating the, like, in the connecting, the, like, trinity of it all. And then finally it looks like whatever this was puts you at your own throne. 4 Pentacles. Anyway, let's see what the near future is. Oh my god. There is 5 energy all over the place. Okay, the way that I just got this too is like when the 5 of Swords is the suggestion. You're going to be really happy with whatever you cut off. I can't even explain this to you more. It's like, you're going to be so happy that it was. If you looked now and you said, should I leave the presence of God to go do that? If you made that choice today and you were like, no, it doesn't matter what it is, what opportunity I'm turning down. I'm letting you know I'm turning down opportunities too. Yeah, I guess I could self-will some stuff out of whatever. But I'm just not even at that place in my life where I'm like, yeah, but I'm currently in the ace. I'm currently here. This is really where I am. If the question is debating leaving this to that, I would never do it, right? That's going to be up to you, though. Going to be up to you in the journey you've walked, the journey you've walked. Because are you still on the line to yourself? Because maybe in the past you would have done this, because this is the recent past, right? Where it's like, I would lie to myself. I would steal from myself. But if you just stole from yourself, let's not do it again. I think this is what, huge message too. It's like, if people were previously stealing from themselves, they realize now, after everything that they just went through, I'm getting the last 6 months, people realize now where in their life the presence of God really was, if it was somewhere. And they definitely know what the opposite of that was, or if they, like, say they walked out on it, they definitely have that awareness now. Because it just took nothing but, like, juggling and healing. That's all that they had to get out of it. And so in the end, the idea is that if you go through that and you really have integrated the wisdom, right, by listening to God's word, you know now, when it comes to thinking of this in the future, cut it. This is someone who's like cutting it because I know this just locks me out of where I really want to be. Craziness. That's what the near future is. 5 of Swords. But I also told you, girls, Five of Swords is a lot of things. That's a lose-lose. A lot of war frequency, a lot of that kind of, right? So you can go a lot of ways. But a lot of people, right? But if God is advising this is an opportunity that comes that takes you out of the cold. But it comes from someone having to be like, this is where it's like, you know, if you've been privileged to provide opportunity or to create some sort of abundance out in the world, it does still belong somewhere. Like everything gets birthed into this world with an intention and a purpose. So this is about saying like, if the purpose isn't this, it's this, right? Because perhaps this is where like people were, Five of Swords, right? Like cutting things off, like severing these sorts of frequencies. And yet they, in exchange, it's like this battle, whatever, look how much it costs. It's also the frequency of like, it just costs so much to go to war. It costs so much to do what we're doing, right? Redemption is God's costly act of rescuing people from bondage. And this is what I feel. I feel like the next thing that's going to have to happen is like God's costly act of having to rescue people from the bondage that they're in. And so maybe I'm saying all of this to let you know, like, I did the preemptive thing today, which is like, screw it. Because from what I'm seeing, people are going to need God to come rescue them from the bondage that's about to be. Because this is what I'm saying. If you're making a decision right now where it's like, I'm choosing to lock myself out of my own kingdom, which can, I'm telling you, you sitting in these metro. I had to say no on the New York Fashion Week Freak. I did. Had to let that go. Let it go. Why? Why? Because we can't go to Babylon. We can't right now. We can't. We can't. We just can't. Not right now. This is not the time. Yeah. Oh. Dennis, this is ugly. It's ugly. I don't even like to bring up stuff, but is this not this nigga getting shot in the neck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's direct.
That's directly what that is. That's
Funny.
somebody sitting up there, open up a anyways. It's not good.
I mean, it's just the day of. It's like.
Listen, y'all. It's like the path you're walking. Welcome to the justice of it. Like whatever. Like I'm saying, this can be a lot of things. 8 of Wands, a lot of fast moving, a lot of darts, a lot of bullets, a lot of shit flying. So I just feel like whatever you're in alignment to 2 of Wands, right? Whatever you're in alignment to at this time, can't nobody say nothing to it. It's like you're in alignment to this. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're just trying to make sure you're not in alignment to something. It's like, cause it's karma. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, don't be in alignment to this. This is it's coming on your path. And a lot of the stuff that's happening right now is coming on that path. Remember I told you all you were picking paths that I think are cray-cray? Some of the stuff that you now were aligned to because it's on your path is like absurd. And then you see all the healing. And first of all, I'm beautiful. Like I'm feeling so beautiful. I've been just like going through such a great like experience in life right now. But anyways, wow. The craziest part of this though, this is where we're at. You back in the car? You back in the garden, bro? Look at this other ace. Do you see what's happening? Some people, the paths they walk down, it ain't nothing but Lady Justice at the end, and a lot of shit coming for you. Others, it's like creative new beginning of a lifetime. And now I'm finally understanding. I mean, every day I wake up in this goddamn country, I see exactly why God gave me the prophecy of the children of America. So it's like such a safe, productive, alternative thing for me to be doing for 48 weeks with the country. Like, giving people something completely positive to do while all this other stuff is going on. And I also feel like that's part of it. Like, that's part of it. Like, oh, that was why you... And God always told me that God was like, Alexis, if I delay your shit out however long, trust me, you will know why. Because it was never that this wasn't supposed to happen because the idea came from God. Like, that's the other thing. It's, like, been frustrating. It's like, God, this ain't even this ain't even, like, the tour I would really tour. Like, if I was just thinking make a tour, I wouldn't have thought of this. It was definitely God's, like, creative direction on a lot of this that I was just obedient to, like, being like, oh, okay, oh, wow. I had to get a lot of future visions and ideas about, like, what the world would look like in order to think about this in a different way and reimagine it. So, for me, it's, like, totally showing me that it's, like, this is the exact backdrop that God would have wanted me to have the tour go down within. Because there's such a big social justice undertone, you know, to what I'm doing. You know, I feel like it's always needed, but I feel like God wants it to really gain traction and to really be something that really is a people's movement in that way, because of maybe what was just coming collectively that, you know, and I always feel that way. Like I said, there's nothing like the way that a prophet's words will be honored in times of calamity. Like, unfortunately, when like people really are down bad, like there's nothing like the voice of God hitting you when you are broken, when you're in your car sleeping, when you hear the like solidarity and the comfort of God's love and mercy and grace. It's like, oh. And I think at the end of the day, it has to do with the manifestation of fear. This is coming out so many times. It's like the manifestation of fear, the burden of fear, right? You burden yourself by not walking away past these creations that have already been made. You know what I mean? And this was just about me using my own foresight to be like, yeah, that would just probably be a burdening situation though. Because remember, in 2025, you should be asking yourself, the best course of action is nothing. Whatever you think is a really great idea, you'll know it's a really great idea if the first step to making it happen is do nothing. That's the stuff that you absolutely run that up times 1,000. Whoa. Yeah, this is definitely about me. I definitely just passed a huge test today. The cup is about to be offered to me. Straight up. The cup that I actually like want and need and didn't have to put myself in danger to get. That would just come right to me. It's absolutely on the way. And for me, like, so for example, if you're dealing with someone who's where it's like, you know, people need redemption when it comes to you, the Five of Swords is like the way they redeem themselves. They would have to have cut something off for leaving you out in the cold, is what I got, because it was fine, but it was Five of Swords. So it's like someone to redeem themselves. It's like, I know the only reason I haven't come forward now is because this has to go before I can even, because there's nothing to redeem. If I'm still doing the same bull malarkey that I should have never been doing in the first place, that's why that would have to take place. You get what I'm saying? But today, God was like, no, Alexis, you don't even got to go you don't even got to go lay down with the dogs. You don't even got to go put yourself in alignment to the stuff that some of these guys have coming on their path. Because on the path that you're on, you're in pure freedom. Now you're just getting like the aces of life. You're just getting the cup, the wand, you know, the pentacle, you know, type of frequency. And it's so beautiful because the outcome truly is exactly this. Intuitively, I was guided to stay still. And by staying still and doing nothing but intuiting and feeling your way through it, you will have the exact perfect new beginning start that is exactly what's for you. And the other great thing is, like, you know, sometimes when calamity strikes, like, I forget how much I've already said. I mean, we're talking like close to 300 videos, films, you know, that I have on this archive at this point that are also just like also informational. So that's huge. But then I think I didn't realize how much I'm going to be seated, because you see how the smoke is clearing for this interview. It's like the smoke begins to clear. The clarity of your voice is true. So one thing I also realized today is, like, I've said it 1,000,000 times. I've literally said it like 1,000,000,000 times. This has already been done, 8 of Pentacles. So then really for me, I'm about to go in the like this era where it's like I'm quiet, I'm pouring it out, and I'm butt naked, like living life. You know what I mean? And this is at the bottom, right? Because it was always about your value was going to find you. Like I said, Gen Z is going to be different. Most of them are probably going to be like apocalyptic. If they do something successful, which is everyone is born with the intention of being successful. But if for Gen Z, when we're successful, it's like knowing how to survive. It's a survival mode success. So like knowing how to adapt to the ways that the United States, the world has changed in general, you know, and finding sort of creative and ethical solutions to the sort of calamity that we inherited at birth. But I just think it's huge. And again, the cup that we receive from God is in the image of how hard we fought for it. Like, again, you told God, I will be the last person standing. I am the most devout. And that's the reason why God showers you with this kind of abundance. But it would be because you're the last person standing. Like, you really fought tooth and nail and you didn't make God out to be some sort of deceptive liar in any way. You really took serious. I'm like, no, I hear God. When God's like, bitch, don't go to New York, I'm like, okay. And sometimes you just have to understand. I think it's hard for humans when God's like, don't go to New York. You gotta just not think of it as like, oh, I can't go to New York because there's something wrong with me. It's not even on you. You might just not have the time you want to have there, so let's just not do it, you know? I don't got nothing to do with nothing. We done been in New York way too many motherfuckers. Don't nobody care. I don't need to be nowhere. I don't really need to be nowhere.
The objective state is just, it's not, it's just the objective state.
Which is what I tried to tell you girls months ago. It's like some of y'all can't not be in the UK. Some of y'all can't not pop out, you know, in Bora Bora. You know, and sometimes I just want you to check in on the motivations. Is it because you can't not be there when... What does it mean, you know? What does it really mean? So... Let's do some clarification. Yeah. Okay, let's see these cups. God's cup. Can you drink from it? Because I feel like even that was the message that my stepmother had given, which was like, many of us, as soon as we get God's assignment, we start pulling from our own cup. And I just felt that test where it's like, do I need to go start pulling from my own cup and act like even the plans for the Children of America tour and like the way that God has given us Ultimate Boy Records and Tethered Studios as jobs, none of that is really self-inspired. So at the same time too, it's also like not about just like adding all these extra things when you're doing God's plan into it, like about how you're gonna go do it.
Right.
Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. Dude, how come the exact same thing? This is nuts. This is literally nuts. This is literally scary. I've never had this double combo come out. So this is exactly, Dennis, this is exactly what the message was. The exact same thing.
Yeah. Oh.
You see what I'm saying? This came out twice, and this is with the but this just came out to clarify the cup. The reason you get the cup is because it's like, put it to rest. Don't go do the loop-de-loop tilt-a-whirl. Just refocus on like, do you not already have the great feeling? Because that's what you did this morning. It was kind of the same thing, right? The test of like, even with your parents, it's like, oh my God, it's like, don't even, that's all a test because you've already done that. We've already done that. We've already done the reality where we're like suppressing our emotions just to be around people, right? It doesn't matter because all God asks you to do in order for you to get the full justice of what you really deserve right now, it's like, you just need to check in. We already have the 10 cups. That's what stopped us this morning. We're like, bruv, we can't have as much as we have and be as well off as we are in this current moment and walk back into pretty much nothing.
Right.
Ace. It's that. It's because this cup is literally coming to replenish the financial sector, every sector. And God just wanted it to be completely given to you the way that God wrote it for us. And all of that stems from, are you going to allow God to get it to you and for it to cover your life in the way God would have wanted it to? Because many times when you start adding things into the and then you start complaining like miracles never happen. But this to me looks exactly like God wanted this cup to be the pinnacle, to be the renewal, to be all of the things. And God didn't want you to feel like you had to include any old world in it to get it. Because that's kind of the whole point of the ascension process, right? Is that we want an alternative route to abundance. Oh my God. The other crazy thing is, did your high priestess not tell you that this judgment day was coming? Did you not check in with your seers of the world? They told you that this was coming. Look. Why is everything going crazy right now? Because it's judgment day. Duh. I mean, I feel like you all can kind of deduce that, but that is the reason. When we have these moments where it just seems like everything gets turned up, judgment's being called. You know? So we talked about this. Because she, the priestess, has to remain aware that this is going on. But in fact, to me, this is her indicator. This is how you know this is how you know judgment has been called. This is how you know God's about to do the new cycle thing. God's about to give out some new aces. Because things are getting destroyed. Because the girls are confused. Because do you see what this says? It says when it's like judgment got called and these girls are confused. It's like, wait, what? What? Wait, that's what's happening? Why are you confused? Because that's what I want people to understand right now. Some people like look at stuff like, what's going on? Why is this happening? It's like, huh? Don't be confused.
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
If anything's not going your way and judgment has been called for any reason, don't be confused about it. You know, that's what I said with your parents. Don't be confused. You know, send your text if your goal is still like I would love to get back in contact with him one day and repair whatever. Great, but don't be confused about why it's not that, because that's what you don't need to take on in the day to day. It's like, wait, but I don't understand why I'm not. No, you definitely should. You definitely know why you're not. You're not because somebody had to call a judgment. Somebody at some point you have to be like, enough.
Yeah.
I can't be the fucking Five Galindos and the Chipmunks in the pits of hell. It can't just be that forever, you know? At some point, right? You have to see the foreseeable future and be like, this is not gonna work out. You know? That's not gonna work out for me. Let's see what's here. That's crazy that combo came out twice. This was a test. Are you going to hurt yourself by looping back into something? Because God is like, Alexis, let me tell you something right now. The place you are... Matter of fact, I feel like God only put New York Fashion Week on my heart to actually help people. Like, to just literally help one people. Because, like, I was going to go there and then I pull it, which is as more of a statement. Being like, oh, no, let's not do it.
You're right.
Let's not do it. And I'm telling you exactly why we're not going to do it. Because it's coming on the path. It don't got nothing to do with nothing. And that's what I think is wrong with a lot of New Yorkers in general. I don't really like the way that the mind gets kind of diseased. Because when you get in New York and you start getting stable and doing well in the New York system, then you start forgetting that, like, girl, we're in hell over here. And at any point, like, we don't really have the power or the control. Let a grid blackout come, let a terrorist attack come. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like one of the places where, like, it was really traumatic to, like, COVID happened on so many echelons and so many ethers, but to be in New York, it's just, like, it wasn't the place that I ideally, like, wanted to be, because, like, everything was just over the top and too hard.
Yeah.
Way too hard to get. It's like everything was a mess. Yikes, Dennis. It's the truth you can't see that people, it's coming down. God is asking all of you, if I can be, I'm using myself as an example, but for right now, wherever you are in your grid, if you were posed with a question that's like, because the thing that you're being asked is something you've already done in the past. This is a cycle you've already closed off and aren't a part of. But this is where if you just got out the trenches, are you about to go right back into the trenches? You have to use your imagination to think of something different. I think that's what's going to be really hard for a lot of people right now, because people didn't use the first 5 years of the 2020s to reimagine something different, like an alternative world. So they're staying in alignment with God. But then there's also, like, God did ask us to, like, start thinking of something different, because you're going to need somewhere to go different than what's currently available. I'm talking about, like, systemically, like, if you're not shopping here, where are you shopping? If you're not shopping at all, what are you doing instead? If you're not eating this, then what are you have to, you know? And I think people are going to be a little shocked, because that's not just going to be there. That's the part that humans do. God needs humans to do some work, because God's not coming back here. Jesus isn't coming back here. It's humans that are on the planet, right? With abilities and gifts. So you have to, and so I just feel like what's coming down is this Ace of Swords. But it's also not just the Ace of Swords, like calamity striking. This ace cuts everything. This is also the Ace of Swords. This is the truth. This is people's truth. Because this ace cuts you from doing this over and over again. This is why you didn't make the same, like, choice, you know? Because it's like, well, what is different than me in 2019 as a 22-year-old? What's different about me now? Everything. Because my desire for certain things is not the same. I'm able to, and that's how you know you've really grown too. It's like, you know, it's like when you're faced with, like, should I do the karmic loop? And you're actually like, nah, I'm gonna fall back. I've been telling you guys, it's a really good thing to get into the habit of like giving things up for your source. It just helps you, because there are times in life when source is gonna ask you to do something that feels unfair. Like, dang, I lost my house in a fire. What? Dang, you have to start out. Even if you had insurance, so you're gonna start it, right? There are times when stuff like that happens in life, and if you don't really already feel comfortable, like, in that rapport, I would just say that would be my suggestion, because it's not natural for me to always just being like, I'm gonna give something to God today. But usually it's just a way for me to know that I'm buying into the connection, because a lot of us want God to buy in for us when we're ready for a miracle. When we want something good, God, buy into my journey. But baby, God be looking at you like, when is the last time you ever gave me a pumpernickel? Never. Like, never. You know? And so I just like to do God that way. It's like, God, you know what? You know my heart. You know I ain't ever sacrificed for you. That's what I'm saying. One thing I do every day, the 10 miles we walk a day, that's chunk it up to God. It could be doing anything with my time, but I'm keeping this vessel and treating it like the holy temple that it really is by doing that, and giving that time for God just to, like, speak to me and my husband direct, guide us, build our relationship. All those things are, those are offerings. So again, that's ancient. That doesn't belong to just one. But offering something to the Most High, to the Creator that you believe in, is also very important at this time. But I feel like that is what exactly that ace really is. It's like when this comes down, it allows you, because I already know it came down today. I know the truth of God came down today for all people. You don't even have to prophesy what any one thing looks like. It's just knowing that whatever goes on will just be, especially when it comes to negativity and like nefarious darkness. If darkness is still prevailing, it is just because people are choosing to go back into the cycle where darkness is looping on itself and do the unhealed thing. Yeah. You don't have to go open it up again though, because even darkness is empowered through our physical vessels. This is why I made Tethered Studios, because you being tethered to this earth is the conduit in which the divine can make things happen. So it's not even JC who's going to come back here and see what you hang with you girls. No, the stuff that we need to do in the meantime is going to come through someone who looks like you and me. You know, your seers, the people who have abilities, all of these things, they're buried deep inside of the hearts of man. And so again, it is so crucial to understand that, like, dealing with the various dark energies on the planet, it is just going into a cycle that we've already closed, because you have already been told that the light is one, right? That the planet is ascending, in fact. Uh-oh. This was the biggest wealth transfer of all time. The recent past. Some of y'all left, and you went and stole from yourself. What did you steal? Your financial independence. I think that's the other thing, is like this type of like stealing, the deceptive sometimes frequency, it has the consequence of actually like being a tower, because you lost a lot of money as well. Like, go again, whether you thought it was just, oh, I'm just picking a person, or I'm just picking something I want to go do, it brings you on a path, right? Like, even if you wake up in the, like I said, I'll use myself as an example. I wanted to go on tour February 14th of 2025. That is what I wrote that to do. And the reality of it is like being yielding and not forcing it and not being crazy and not pushing too much just to make it happen when I could tell that God wasn't having it flow at certain points, would have resulted in me paying way more to deceive myself than what I actually ended up paying, which is nothing. I had to pay nothing out of pocket. I've just been receiving this year, as I've gone through a lot this year, yes, but also in terms of the universe, I've just been receiving. I haven't been nothing else. But I have a feeling for many of you who did, you picked a path of deception. You didn't just lie to yourself. I think some of you thought, like, even if I'm lying to myself about something, it's just one lie. And that's the thing that got you. Is that one lie actually still puts you on a path. Everything comes with a path. Whatever you have to, like, lie to yourself and stomach comes with a path. You know? If you're, for example, if your parents were projecting with BRC in the situation, it was really about, like, them being pressed about something emotional they're going through, and they just wanted to focus on their kids and what their kids were doing, and it was just convenient that you were going through the sensitivities you were going, so then that's where they put it all in. Do you know how much that costs you? $60K. That's how much it's going to cost you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, deception it is costly, right? This is God's costly act of rescuing people, because you guys already, it's like paying money to put yourself in a shitter. It's paying money to shit in your own lagoon. You know, it's like that. And then it's like, in the end, God's going to come and like pay even more to get you out of the thing. You already paid your own money. You lost money over this, right? That's why I think it's going to be different this time, when people think, should I do the tilt-a-whirl again with the karmic boot? No, they're not. No, because they know the truth now, right? They know the truth. It's like, we're not going to do that. Because it was just a tower after it was just a tower, and it was like, not only is it gonna collapse, not only did it, that's the thing, I think people are lying. It's like, you thought you didn't even buy time, bro. It just, if something collapses in the end, you're not buying time. You're wasting money. That's what it looked like in the recent past. People were wasting money. For example, I can think of that, like, even with my brother, right? Like, with so many of the things, it's like, it doesn't even matter how much you're building on top of this, because I was like, I don't even think you've told yourself the real truth about whether you even like this. It's like, so it's like people was like, okay, I'm not even just use my brother as an example. It's like, literally anyone, right? Why get 15 dogs with somebody that you don't have a deeper commitment than, like, boyfriend or friend? You know, why put a lease on somebody that you don't have a deeper commitment with, when if that relationship went, everything that's connected to it goes? That's what I'm getting. It's like in the past, people investing in things that, it's like, this is a tower, and it's like, you put the 9 pin, put all your cash in it. And so now when you're letting stuff lie, it's because that felt, look at you cuffing yourself, just like, you'd be imprisoning yourself. Because in the past, what you were doing, that's what I'm trying to say, is like, I also, one of the things that I'm just getting a lot about, they're just using your parents because it's top of my mind. But for example, do you know how many people also do this? Something is actually going to collapse, and to avoid collapse, they'll do certain things like, for example, me and my wife need to get a divorce, and we don't want to claim that. So, what are we going to do? Maybe we can come together and not heal, but like find something to come together on just by like being on each other's team, judging something outside of us. We've seen that a lot in people, right? Where it's like, people don't want to talk about how this is about to crumble in 30 seconds. So instead, I'm going to lie on somebody else. That happened to me. Reason I fucking cut my brother off. Why did I cut my brother off? Because his relationship was crumbling with his own partner, personally. Didn't have nothing to do with me. Yeah. I'm living with him because he's my brother and he owed me a solid. He offered me that. He gave me the solid because he's just my brother. That's why I'm there. Mm-hmm. But to be blamed in the end, right? For what was basically what I'm saying is the two can join a coup d'etat and be like, let's not talk about our obvious issues in our relational dynamic, because it'll give them something to come together on. When people can feel something slipping from their grip skis, you don't think they're gonna get together and project just to prolong the ending they don't want to face? You know how many people have done that to me? Mm-hmm. Many people just see me as some objective, like, whatever, like, person in the pool of life. And they be going through stuff all the time with their stuff. And they literally will be like, oh, we can come together over, like, tearing Alexis down. Or, like, just focusing on her situation. Right? Parents who should have got divorced 40 years ago. Know damn well. That's the truth. And they sitting up here like, well, if we just keep focusing on the kids and, you know, getting them to their next step. That's what this looks like. Recent past. That type of freak. You know what I mean? That's what that truly looks like, you know? At the end of the day, I'm looking good. I'm just looking raw. Like, I'm looking like ain't nothing ever touched me. I ain't never been... type of frecuencia. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Dude, this is fucked over. Y'all just saw me sit here jumping for 30 minutes, and I'm so sorry to say this to you girls. Are you crowning the message? Do you see how many repeated messages are coming out? And remember when I gave that message about unrequited love yesterday? Where, do you know what people are realizing now? Oh, that person literally was just sitting over there saying they love me. Yep. And I'm so scared running from my own whatever, deceiving myself, projecting, wasting money. And it's like, this is why redemption was called for. I'm telling you, the message yesterday, God was like, sin, confession, and redemption. It's God's order. This is like written on the paper right there. Like, because why this didn't work out is complete tomfoolery. Why something that should have been, you should have sent your offer in the first place. We should have linked and built together. We should have celebrated how fast we built it, and we should have been sitting on a throne by now. If that's not happening for you right now, it's because this happened. It's the same prophecy for my family. My family right now, we should be eating bonbons. We should be celebrating that I'm a genius. We should be celebrating that life worked out. We should be celebrating that no matter what, we overcame. And instead, so why? Because this is what people were trying to avoid. And looks like in the end, it doesn't even matter. It comes down. The original truth that all this mess is connected to, it has to come down. It has to be put to rest. It has to be put to rest. It literally has to be put to rest. You get what I'm saying? It's like, no. This is deeply individual. It will show up in a collective, but this is like individual dynamics for people. You know? Because the timeline where it's supposed to be for me, what I see about what was supposed to be loading was there wasn't supposed to be any missteps. There wasn't supposed to be any issues. There wasn't supposed to be any, like, it wasn't supposed to even be hard. It was supposed to be like, I see you, you see me, let's link and build, let's celebrate what we just built. Royalty, right? That was all it was supposed to be. I don't get it. How come the prophecy was so hard for you girls? Because you're too busy doing this shit. Look at you. Too busy trying to too busy trying to war. And now you're wondering why people don't answer your phone calls. Now you're wondering why you're barred off. Now you're wondering why you're off in the ether. But you didn't take accountability for the war frequency. When you could have made a win-win, you chose a win-lose. That's why it's always a shameful, sad act. That you gotta walk away, because this was supposed to just be a win for everybody, is how I feel. And when I look at your family, it was supposed to be what was supposed to be wrong? The third generation of Galindos to hit the United States should have been taken off running. Should have been super simple. Your dad and your mom already made it easy. And then to do all that on it, that's what doesn't make this. I'm sorry. It's not even my opinion on it. It's the truth. That staying alone is so massive. You can't afford to be like, I don't care whatever the reasoning was that you did that for. Because now when God has to redeem you, God's got to now come back and put your family back together. God's got to come back and be like, let's recover the costly act of whatever this was. What was that? Word to the Lord, what was that? What was that? I'm telling you, for everybody, so I'm assuming this is what you girlies did. You cut someone. You said, I win, you lose. Demon. I'm going to say it, but I'm going to let you know right now. It's God's order that you sin, confess, and also redeem yourself from that, because you're walking around like this, thinking about how it should have been like that. How you took something simple and you what is this? You had to lie just to hurt somebody? You see what I'm saying? This is someone lying to you and being like, oh,